businessman Donald Trump. Texas Senator Ted.
Commander-in-Chief, and someone who lies to the families of those 4 victims in Benghazi can never be president of the United States.
Well, I'm very happy to get a question this early on. I was going to ask you to wake me up when the time came.
That Donald is dismayed that his poll numbers are falling in Iowa. But the facts and the law here are really quite clear. Under long-standing U.S. law, Bobby Jindal would be disqualified, and interestingly enough, Donald J. Trump would be disqualified. Because...
But I was born here.
On the issue of citizenship, Donald...
Big difference.
On the issue of citizenship, Donald...
In Iowa now, as you know, Ted, in the last 3 polls, I'm beating you. So, you shouldn't misrepresent how well you're doing with the polls. You don't have to say that. In fact, I was all for you until you started doing that, because that's a misrepresentation. Number 1. Number 2, this isn't me, vice presidential candidate, and the Democrats sue because we can't take him along for the ride. It's the rest of the field because they want me. But if for some reason, Neil...
versus Gore, he's a major Hillary Clinton supporter, and there's a reason why Hillary's supporters are echoing Donald's attacks on me.
He is not the only one.
Wants to face Donald Trump in the general election.
There are many lawyers.
And I'll tell you what, Donald, you very kindly just a moment ago offered me the VP slot. I'll tell you what. If this all works out, I'm happy to consider naming you as VP. And so if you happen to be right, you could get the top job at the end of the day.
No, I think if it doesn't...
I stood on the stage and watched Marco and rather indignantly look at Governor Bush and say, someone told you to that office.
They're trying to make an entertainment
It appears that the same someone's been whispering in old Marco's ear, too. Neil, my name was mentioned here. Neil, my name was mentioned as well.
Please give me some time.
Here's the deal.
Neil, I was mentioned too.
You were?
Yeah, I said everybody.
Your rear end out of the White House, come this fall.
He should have said duty.
Senator Cruz embodies New York values. Could you explain what you mean by that?
You're from New York, so you might not. But I promise you in the state of South Carolina, they do.
Very insulting statement that Ted made.
Governor Bush.
I think that Trump totally pwned Cruz's bones with that. Pwned his bones with that 9/11 throwback. I think it was Brill's.
I think that Ted Cruz stepped in it on that one.
Totally.
His poll numbers went up 8 points in South Carolina. Now, wait.
11 points to be exact.
Are you saying that all those people...
It's the New York Times. They're always wrong.
Well...
They were wrong.
You never said because...
No, China, they don't like to tell us, but they have total control because of China.
So
now,
you never
wait a minute.
putting
We don't need a weak person being president of the United States, okay? Because that's what we'd get if it were just... I'll tell you what. We don't need that. We don't need that. That's essentially what we have now, and we don't need that. And that's why we're in the trouble that we're now. And by the way, Jeff, you mentioned Boeing. Take a look. They order planes. They make Boeing build their plant in China. They don't want them made here. They want those planes made in China. That's not the way the game is supposed to be played.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Concede.
Oh, yeah, I'll check for you.
Check it out.
Senator, briefly.
The difference between Marco's tax plan and mine. Mine gives every American a simple, flat tax of 10%. Marco's top tax rate is 35%. And it helps everyone from the very poorest to the very richest.
But that's not... Reagan said that it was a blindfold. You blindfold the American people so they cannot see the true cost of government. Now, so I'll answer
the reason, now you already had your chance, Mark, you blew it. Here's the thing.
I'll be more than happy to decide on
the fact is, the reason why...
If you'll answer the...
...care and avoid this. avoid what Hillary Rodham Clinton will do to you, because what she will do is come in, even moving further left than she's moved already to get to the left of Bernie on this. We have seniors out there. This Congress, this one that we have right now, just stole $150 billion.
Trump is a New Yorker with all that entails.
Oh, that was not a good call.
So that was one theme. It seemed like these moderators seem to give an awful lot of time to Donald Trump.
I don't hate it. That's the only reason why I tune in.
Bush tried valiantly to take on Donald Trump. That never ends well for him.
No, always embarrassing.
All the way back to, remember that great beer summit he had after he messed up that time. This is a guy.
Time and a half. We want Rand Paul.
Ooh. All right. You got to deal with controversy. Why you wore a red tie? Hey, go ahead.
Issue is a dramatically different issue than it was 24 months ago. 24 months ago, 36 months ago, you did not have a group of radical crazies named ISIS who were burning people in cages. Maria, let me clear something up here. This is an interesting point when you talk about immigration. Ted, public servant, Edward Snowden is a traitor. And if I am president and we get our hands on him, he is standing trial for treason. And one more point, veto that in a millisecond.
I'm going to get a response to that, Neil. There's no way he launches 11 attacks.
Don't even actually are part of a bill that ever passed. Governor, thank you.
When we come right back, closing statements.
Loved Cruz versus Trump, but I also see them making a great team.
Interesting.
If Donald Trump wants to talk about poll numbers, for some reason I'm in.
Do you think that's bad?
Yeah. I do.
The people who are just talking process are more interesting and getting more eyeballs than the people talking about policy.
We have had such a lethargic leader for the last 8 years who has shown little to no emotion. Granted, when he finally did show emotion, everybody said that they feigned that it was not sincere over gun control. I have no opinion on that whatsoever. But we've had such a lethargic leader over the last 8 years who has not been aggressive when it comes to terror. And I'm also a Republican.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll say that. But
so you know what you're talking about.
This is my opinion. This is my personal opinion.
Cool.
Is that I have watched just a leader that has not felt like a strong leader. He's not felt like somebody that has my best interest at heart. It doesn't feel like he's fighting for me. And so I feel like in this upcoming election, I'm looking for somebody that is passionate about my safety, passionate about my future, and who's passionate about me. And
who's standing out to you as a Republican voter?
I love Donald Trump. I think I do.
Interesting.
I can't
I'll
help
be so
myself.
curious tomorrow to see if he gets a bump out of this performance tonight.
Well, yeah, I think that it's one of his stronger performances
Actually,
in the GOP
I agree with
debate. Yeah, but tonight he was on fire. I especially loved when he came back at Cruz regarding the New York comments and said, you cannot throw out 9/11. You just can't.
If we elect Hillary Clinton, the next 4 years will be worse than the last 8, and our children will be the first Americans ever to inherit a diminished country.
I stood yesterday with 75 construction workers. They're tough, they're strong, they're great people. Half of them had tears pouring down their face. They were watching the humiliation of our young 10 sailors. We will make America great again. We will win on everything we do. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, and it was nice to meet some of you new people. I'm seeing new faces, so thanks so much for spending your evening with me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Sweet dreams. Bye.